Hey, Thomas Frank here, and today we just launched a massive new update for Flylighter with tons of new additions, changes, performance upgrades, and lots of other tweaks underneath the hood. So to give you a bit of a preview for everything we're going to cover in this video, number one, as you can see, Flylighter has received a bit of a visual facelift. It's now much easier to use and navigate, and in particular, we have changed and upgraded the way that autofill settings now work. So it's now easier than ever to choose automatically filled data, either specific values from your Notion databases or dynamic web data that's just going to automatically fill itself into your flows every time you run them. And speaking of flows, creating new ones is now faster than ever because we now automatically set up your title, icon, and URL properties with autofill data from the web page, which makes building a new flow just super duper quick. Our full article capture algorithm is now much improved as well. In the past, you might have seen a little undefined keyword on certain sites where it just couldn't find the full article. Now that is a thing of the past. And in general, Flylighter is now just much faster, snappier, and more performant underneath the hood. We've also included a few experimental features that are very early days right now, but wanted to give you a look at them, including an early look at our sidebar mode. You can now open Flylighter as a sidebar app in Chrome, and while it has a few bugs and quirks you might run into right now, hopefully you can see what this is going to eventually become, which is this great sidebar companion that will help you to capture any kind of information you want from the web, highlights, full articles, notes, and send it to Notion, and in the future, additional destinations as well, because Flylighter isn't just meant to be a Notion web clipper. Instead, we're trying to build a set of tools for you to be able to capture any kind of data or ideas you have and send it to whatever tool you are using. In the near future, we're going to be launching new destinations, including Obsidian, Pipedream, Zapier, and a lot more, so stay tuned. And at this point in the video, I'm going to dive into screencast mode so I can show you everything that we've just covered in that little preview in a bit more detail. So first, I will point out here on the Flylighter website, which is also brand new, we've got this little updates tab right here, and this is where you can see all of our change logs. If you want to see the major changes, the minor changes, and our bug fixes, they're all going to be there as well. So going over to a Farnham Street article, I want to first show you some of the improvements to our autofill system and our UI changes in general. So now when we open up Flylighter, which has a cool new logo that was created by our lead developer, Eli, if I create a brand new flow, which I can do right here, and I'll just call this one, say, learning, and maybe even bring it up into this learning folder here, the first thing you'll notice is that our destination picker is much improved. It's a lot faster, it fetches your Notion databases in way less time, and it's generally just a lot easier to use. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick my all notes database from my second brain in Notion, and as you can see, we have our icon, we have our title, and we have our URL auto-filled, pulling dynamic data from the web page. And for now, I can zoom this in just so you can see a little bit easier. If I open up this globe icon, which we call the data picker, you can now see that this property is being autofilled with this title object down here. And this title object, if you hover over it, will show you the exact value right now. It comes from this web data plugin, and you can see it right here. So this is going to change based on the web page you're on, and you can see that we're autofilling a dynamic value. If we wanted to, we could autofill the exact value, or we could use this value only once, and now it wouldn't autofill on future runs of this flow. Now, for the title of a web page I'm capturing, I would want that to autofill, so I'm going to click this title object once more, and now we can see once again it is autofilling the title. So it's just a lot more clear at this point what is being autofilled and what is being filled just once when you are running a flow. And to show you an instance of where I might actually want it to fill just once, I'll close this data picker and I'll open up this area and resource data picker here. So because this is a relation property in my Notion database, instead of showing web data, I'm actually seeing the pages from that relation property. And I think in this case, I have a learning page down here, and by default, this type of property is going to use learning only once. However, if I was building out a learning flow, and in fact I am right here, I might want to autofill that as well. So certain properties are going to default to autofill, like title properties and URL properties. Other properties, like say these relations or tags that we pick in select properties, are going to default to being one-time items, and you can always change them to autofill items if you want. Okay, at this point, I want to show you the improvements to our full article capture algorithm. So if you go over to the content editor, this basically gives you a canvas to take notes, to clip highlights from the web page, or to grab pieces of web data down here from our web data plugin, including the full article. And as you use Flylighter, you're now going to see that our article detection algorithm is much more accurate and almost always gets the article. So I can click it just like that. And if I want to capture this to Notion, I will do just that. open it up in Notion, and we will see that we have the entire article. Now, for some sites, you're gonna have a bit more information than you might want. This is something we're gonna be improving in the coming weeks, but along with that information, you will have the entire article. And as you can see, all of your formatting is preserved. We have our headings, we have our bullet lists, we have links, we have italics and bolding. Everything that is actually in the article that can be easily rendered in Notion, we are able to render in Notion for you. And to finish this video off, I want to show you one of our experimental new features, which is the side panel mode. So back here on this just 25 pages a day article, I can right click Flylighter up in the extension bar, and I can hit open side panel right there. And by default, Flylighter is going to open as a pretty narrow app, but if I go into one of my flows and then I expand it out, eventually, if you're on a big enough monitor, you're gonna have this multi-column app experience where here on the left, you can fill in all of your Notion properties, and then on the right, you've got the content editor and you have these plugins here. So if you have a big enough monitor, you can very easily open up an article that you're using as, say, a research piece and very easily capture it to Notion, fill in any of these database properties, clip highlights from the article itself, and bring in web data items from this web data plugin down here. And in the near future, we'll have even more web data items to select from, so you can capture basically anything from the page that you want. So that is where I'm going to leave this video. One thing that I will tease you with before I let you go is that we are very soon going to be launching an insiders program where if you want to get access to insider builds, early access to new features, and have more say and input into what we build, you'll be able to join that program. Let us know what you think of it. Let us know what you want to see in the future. And like I said before, the updates tab of the website has all the detail you could want about every change and bug fix in this release. We'll also have all the updates for all future releases as well. That's all I've got for you for this video, so enjoy this set of updates. We have a lot more features coming down the pipeline, so I will see you then.